So, I'm not quite sure if this is recording audio. Whoa. And I have a cold, so I probably won't talk much here, which is arguably for the better, but I have a little design that I thought would be worth sharing and exploring the full potential of in creative here. So, simple idea is that you've got a projector on a rotor with a merge block, projects a torpedo, it gets built up, these things launch it after the merge block has disconnected it. That's all controlled by this series of timer blocks. These three are for the launching and release of the thing, the building and the release of the thing, and this fourth is for allowing it to repeat, on a reasonable cycle. Yes, we can just go ahead and launch a missile, I suppose, and see how it does. I'll show the torpedo design in just a moment, but it's not really the important thing. So we can press this first timer block, 1, to trigger a single launch. A little less than straight, but definitely seemed to hit close to where we wanted it to hit. And as you can see, this is all heavy armor. Wow, that's actually better than I expected. Yeesh. Well, perfect demonstration. Let's see. This is 1 layer of heavy armor, 2 layers of heavy armor, 3 layers of heavy armor, 4 and 5 layers of heavy armor. It made like a 3-wide hole. That's pretty crazy, I'd say. Yeah, and it has this repeating functionality with which we can probably, if that sort of performance is consistent, punch a ton of holes through this thing. Yeesh, I hadn't tried it with a new torpedo design, and that's quite impressive. So if we press 2 here, it will turn on a repeating function, which is pretty simple. You can imagine how that works, but it's probably what you want to actually use in battle. It looks like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can see stars on the other side of that hole, which is promising. And you can see I can re-aim a little bit while shooting these, and it's not damaging the hole they come out of too much, and I'll just cut this thing off. So it seems pretty sustainable. These are reasonably pricey rounds, but not so pricey that they aren't cost effective considering the damage they do. Okay, so here's an example of a round which didn't do as well. I think that's only, it broke through 4 heavy armor blocks and damaged a few others. But it seems like they've been, with reasonable consistency, yes, actually penetrating through all these layers. So that's more of an anomaly than the rule, which is heartening. I lied, I am talking a lot. But I'll try to wrap up here, because I'm sure this is of incredible interest to anyone. We can find the torpedo I've been using. Now, this was actually the part of the design that took a lot of refinement and prototyping. So as you can certainly tell, there's a gyroscope in there, which is just in the projection overridden. There are 8 artificial mass blocks, which is reasonably pricey, single battery, and this is a later edition, 16 warheads, and a sensor close to the middle. The rest is just heavy armor. It's reasonably heavy, but actually you'd be surprised on how finicky this is. Just doing it with heavy armor and mass blocks, there are ways to make a projectile that will almost always bounce off and never penetrate. That look awfully similar to this, so I think I've hit something of a sweet spot here. The warheads are obviously set to detonate, and it's convenient. Occasionally you get bounces, like the one up here, and having the warheads detonate afterwards can either expand the hole or make sure that bounces like that aren't totally ineffective, and do a bit of, burst damage to the side of any ship you're next to. Also, conveniently enough, reduce the floating number of particles that have to be cleaned up later on servers, which is good, at least for me, if I'm doing the cleaning. Yeah, as you can see, those launchers are pretty stackable. So for penetrating heavy armor, I know of few more effective designs that don't use scripts or mods. Should mention, obviously all unmodded. It's just 3 timer blocks, so yeah, I thought it was good. Thank you. Goodbye.